Hello everyone, hope you're all well. We just wanted to make this video just to reiterate the importance of the interdict that we explained in the previous video. We do feel like maybe that information got lost a little bit, so we're going to make this video focused on this interdict and the importance of it. I think a few of you have understood the importance of it and realise the significance of this interdict or court order, might be a better term for it if you're in England. So this document here is the actual interdict that was served on Elizabeth. Elizabeth is here with me.
Hi everyone.
So this was served 4th of April 2023. Okay, so it's served by Network Rail, and it was to do with the access for them to do the works at the station. That's correct, isn't it, Liz?
Yes, if everybody remembers, Network Rail were planning to install the stop and request infrastructure on the station platform and on the sidings in March 2023. They came to do that on that day, and they were turned back because they didn't have the right to come onto the land. 3-4 weeks later, I got served with this court order, the interdict, by Network Rail. So that's the chronology of it. I hope that helps.
Yeah. So there's been a bit of misinformation, disinformation that's been spread around by the trolls, trying to make out that the interdict was about the cattle entrance, our driveway, our front entrance, which it is not. Okay, because this interdict is for Caledonia Forest land. And where does it describe in here? It's plan, is it plan 2, is it, Liz? Yeah, plan 2, produce reduction 4A.
I think it might be helpful just to go through the terms of the interdict so everybody understands what it was that I was prevented from doing.
Okay, so Liz is going to go through the terms of the interdict. So just to, you can pause this, put it on full screen, and you can pause it so you can read it. Okay, so just read it now then, Liz, just for the benefit of those watching.
Okay, so the terms of the interdict are listed here as 1 and 2, and the court order, the interdict, was preventing me, the defender, which is me, her agents, contractors, employees or any other person acting or purporting to act with the defender's permission or authority from blocking, open brackets, whether by way of padlock, blocking with a vehicle or other physical object or otherwise, close brackets, the access track as more fully described in the condescendence and marked on Plan 2 Producers Production 4A and the annotated photograph Producers Production 13 for the duration of the works to be undertaken by the pursuer as more fully described in the condescendence and for interdict ad interim. Okay, just to...
So, yeah, just show Plan 2A. This is Plan 2A, okay? So the temporary access route that we walked in the last video. So this is that Plan 2 that they're referring to, okay? So that's the route that goes down from the end of our driveway, and it goes round and goes into the quarry and then comes back up through that gate and goes up to the sidings to the side of the station. Okay.
Yeah, okay, so again, so the works that are referred to in this interdict is the works were the stop and request infrastructure to be installed on the station platform, and Network Rail got an access agreement with the forestry company to access the station over their land, which is this plan. Term 2 to grant interdict against the defender, her agents, contractors, employees or any other person acting or purporting to act with the defender's permission or authority from preventing the pursuer, its employees, agents, contractors and representatives from undertaking the works as more fully described in the condescendence for the duration of the said works. Okay?
Yeah.
So they were the terms that were brought against me. I was prevented from doing those two things.
So, basically, let's just put it in a nutshell for you. Network Rail didn't enforce this interdict because they couldn't enforce it. The only option they had was to close the station, which they did. Why couldn't they enforce the interdict? Because they do not own the land at the station and they do not own our driveway. If they did, they would have enforced this interdict. That's correct, isn't it, Liz?
Yeah, that is completely correct. So Network Rail used their former solicitors, Denton's, to obtain this interdict against me. They were unable to enforce this interdict against me. They even, after I was served with this, Network Rail workers and contractors and BTP came to Altnabreck on 2 further occasions with this interdict. But they were turned back on both occasions because they could not enforce it. And this is, remember, was April 2023. And then in November 2023, Network Rail and ScotRail closed the station. Why? Because they could not enforce this court order against us because they do not own the station.
For 2025 now, guys. And, I mean, it's obvious, isn't it, that Network Rail went to court to get this interdict, this court order, to try and carry out this request to stop work at the station. Come on, you know, if they own the station, if they own the driveway, they would have enforced this court order interdict, wouldn't they, Liz?
They would have enforced the interdict and they wouldn't have used BTP to try and threaten to arrest us on our own land.
That's right.
And that's what they resorted to doing because they could not enforce a civil court order against us.
Because they do not own our driveway and they do not own the land on the station.
They could not enforce this interdict against me because it did not give them authority to access land which was not within their ownership. On 2 further occasions after I was served with this interdict, Network Rail contractors and BTP returned to Altnabreck Station to try and undertake the works. And they were again unable to do it, even though the interdict was in place, because they knew they couldn't enforce it. So it's clear, isn't it, that Network Rail brought a court order interdict against me to stop me from preventing the works from being undertaken at Altnabreck Station, and yet they couldn't enforce the interdict against me. So it's clear it's because they don't own the station. And this was in April 2023. And as you'll know from the news reports, Altnabreck Station was closed in November 2023. Now, if Network Rail owned the station and this interdict could be enforced against me, there would never have been any need to close the station. They would have just enforced the interdict. So it was really important for us to bring that to your attention because it's again further evidence that Network Rail are trying to mislead the public here. They clearly don't own our driveway because if this interdict was enforceable, they would have used it. And instead of using BTP to threaten to arrest us on our own land. And another quick point I want to mention is that the solicitors that brought this interdict against me, who acted on behalf of Network Rail in March 2023, was Denton's solicitors. Since then, and since they were able to enforce this, Network Rail no longer use Denton's solicitors. They use another firm called Brody's. However, the solicitor that was involved in this interdict that was brought against me now works for the new firm, Brody's, and she's involved in this case that's ongoing at court now, and she knows